You a sucker if you a step parent. Straight like that. So I got 2 stepdaughters, right? One of them's shipping out to the army in about a month. So yesterday we sitting on the couch, we chopping it up, bucka. You know how I go? And she's like, yeah, I had to make a will, and I had to put people in charge of my body and my money. God forbid anything happen. So I'm all engaged. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. Nothing's gonna happen to you. You're a pretty girl and you kinda smart, so they probably gonna have you in the office. But she's like, yeah, but you never know, because they gonna give me a gun. I get that, but you're gonna be straight. But she goes, just in case though. But if I do die, I left everything to my dad. So I paused for a second. I said, huh? Yeah, I left everything to my dad. I feel like he'll do the right thing.
Welcome back to the Mike and Mike Show, News and Entertainment. It's me, Michael B. Wiley. To my showstoppers tuning in and out each and every week, thank you guys, love you guys, appreciate you guys. And if you just found this channel, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can get notified every time I drop a video. Now, you guys, let's just face this fact. You know, he has 2 stepdaughters, and I'm assuming that he's been taking care of these kids their whole entire life. And he's trying to make sense of something between him and his stepdaughter who's joining the service. And she came to him and said that she is going to leave all her stuff to her dad. Now, y'all, you know, this is why I don't advocate for stepdads to be stepdads. I wouldn't advocate for stepmoms to be stepmoms. This is why. I used to work with a gentleman. He cleaned up at the building I worked at, and this gentleman took care of this young lady like he was her own, like she was his own. He married her mom, took care of her mom. Her mom ended up dying. He continued to take care of her. However, when she got back in contact with her real father, she cut him off just scandalously. Like, she did not care. And he came to work the next day because it happened during his time when we worked together. And he came there the next day and he was just not himself, like after we talked. And I asked him, I said, what's going on? He said, she completely cut me off. I was at doctor's appointments. I did birthday parties, Christmases. I did grandkids' birthday parties, which were her kids, Christmases, and took them to doctor's appointments. I was the one paying for school clothes. And fellas, we're going to get back into the video. Let's be clear. If you are taking on a woman with kids, you do that. You're not going to get no special trophy. You're not going to replace the dad. That kid still is going to wish their dad was in their life. That kid somehow, when they reconnect with their father, is going to probably turn you off. You have those that do stick around and, you know, present themselves to actually care about fathers. However, I've seen very few where the stepdad then have kids with the mom and they have their own kids within the marriage, and somehow the 2 oldest or 3 oldest or 1 oldest kids still resent their stepdad. I will not advocate for stepdads to go into this kind of trauma and hurt and emotion. But we're going to get back into this video. Let's finish it out.
I said, everything? Yeah. I said, the car? Yeah. I bought you the car. All your jewelry? Yeah. I bought you that. I bet. You know what? You're right. Your dad a good guy. Pucka. I ain't even gonna be in your chest like that. So I go to the room. I'm watching TV, all in my feelings. You know, a tear fall from my eye. Like, damn, I ain't get nothing. You could leave me the car so I could remember you by? Nah, you gonna get it to your daddy. All right, bet. She go, yo, can I go to get a crumble cookie? That's fine. Make sure you buy your daddy a cookie. So she go to crumble cookie. On the way to crumble cookie, she called me. Yo, Rob, my car's shaking over 40. I said, oh man, it's probably something to do with your tires. Pull over, check if you got something in your tire. Sure enough, she got a flat. She's like, yeah, I got a flat. What do I do? Call your fucking daddy.
Well, uh, yeah, you guys don't put yourself in a position to get hurt. I mean, what you do for that kid is definitely ultimately what you do for the mother. And always remember, when you're a stepdad, you only allow the type of access or parenting that mother is going to allow you to have. So if you have kids on your own and you know that you can parent them how you want to parent them, and you won't have to worry about this running into anybody in the future, as far as like you having your own kids, and you don't want to run into people who you might meet and you might like and they have kids, and you somehow put on some type of restrictions when they come to them kids, especially if you're doing for the mom and those kids. Just don't get in a relationship with a woman that have kids. It's always going to be like that. It's always going to be her kids. If something is major going on, as far as like it's not looking good, the situation is probably looking bad, and they're always going to be your kids if they're your stepkids, if you're doing for them. And it's just not a win-win situation unless that woman really have some kind of morals in her life to say, hey, you do for me and my kids. I trust you. You trust me. However, those cases are rare. And when those cases happen, it still backfire. And stepfathers end up like this gentleman. Like I said, the guy I worked with that used to clean the building, he came to work 3-4 days in a row drunk. He don't have kids. He never thought to have any of his kids. He can't have kids. And he said if he did have kids and was able to have kids, he's too old to have any kids of his own. So he really looked at this young lady as his kid because her father was never around, not involved. However, when she met up with her father after her mom passed away, she completely cut him off as if she never knew him. All right. So that just goes to show you the mom can appreciate you, but the kid will somehow still cut you off if they're not decent. There's no other way to say this. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have kids, because this is just on the men's side of things. Now, on the woman's side of things, it get way worse. I mean, women don't want you even doing for your own kids if you're with them and y'all have kids together. That's a whole nother story. This is on the man's side of things. The man's point of view of things is that a lot of men like this gentleman end up going through this kind of heartbreak, whether it's in their face or behind their back. You will not ever be looked at as their father or the man that helped raise and took care of them. You will always be looked at as their mama's boyfriend, if their mom have kids with you, their mama's baby daddy, or somebody their mom is just with. You will not ever be looked at in the eyes of those kids as daddy. And here go another one, you guys. Fellas, you will not ever be looked at. And I know this might sound harsh and cruel, but you will not ever be looked at by her as that light. She will grant you to be their father. However, she will always believe that, those are her kids. And if she leave, they leave with her. If she cut you off, they cut you off with her. I have brothers that have been in those situations that have dated women with kids. And as soon as he left, she said she didn't want nothing. She didn't want him to have anything to do with her son, even though he was in her son's life for the majority of his childhood, on up until the day they broke up, picking her son up for school, dropping him off to school, taking him to go see wrestling, all types of things. So I'm just saying from firsthand experience from the stepdads or the wannabe stepdads that I've seen step up and, take the challenge, they always come out with the shorter end of the stick. You have the exception to the rule, and then you have them. Always remember that. Yes, you will want to be exception to the rule, but there's very few, and there's few far and in between. I love you guys. Peace out. Thank you for watching the content, subscribing, liking the channel. I appreciate y'all. And make sure whatever you do, don't go messing up nobody's day because your day went sour. Just smile at them. Peace out.